Calling to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Warrenville Public Library District. It is Wednesday, April 16th at 7:03 p.m. And I'm going to do a roll call. Trustee Lazan. Here. Trustee Richardson. Here. Trustee Schmidt. Here. Trustee Warren.
Here.
Trustee Stoll. Here. Trustee DeRocher is here, and Executive Director Stolman, and all of our department heads. So, we are going to move forward with an approval of the agenda. Could I have a motion, please? Are there any changes?
Nope.
Okay,
I move we approve the agenda as written.
second. Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Lazan. All in favor? Any opposed? The agenda
I
is,
was sort of hoping that we might be able to move item 4C down to part 8C. With discussion.
8. There is no 8C.
No, to make one, that it was suggested in there,
What you're talking about, D?
the,
The wage scale and pay grade?
yes,
You want to move that out of the consent agenda?
no, to put it into it.
It is already in.
It's in the consent agenda.
I thought it was going to be moved. Oh,
It was if you wanted to discuss it more, you could take it out of the consent agenda
I see.
and put it in regular
Okay.
business and discuss it more. But if everybody was okay with what you read, then you can leave it in the consent. agenda.
Okay,
So we're fine?
I guess, yes. Seems
We're
like,
good?
yeah.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna move forward with the approval of the agenda being approved as it is. And so we are going to then do our presentation. And our presentation,
That we approve the resolution first. I think we've already.
oh, I didn't realize we had to approve it.
And you didn't vote, did you vote on the agenda?
We did, no.
No.
I think you motioned and seconded. I don't think we actually
Oh.
voted.
I'm so sorry, I got just sidetracked. You're right. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda, aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. We did vote on it, because I said. We did vote on it. Okay, I said, good. Now, item 4. We're going to approve the resolution. So if someone could make a motion on the resolution?
So move.
Um,
to approve it.
I'll second.
okay, so do I need to speak the whole resolution to approve it, or do I speak it after it's approved? It's a very long resolution.
It-
We always read them though. It's.
I'm
Read it.
going to read it, I just don't know.
You might as well read it first.
Well, the sooner we get going.
Okay,
No,
maybe
we
I
should
feel
approve
like I
it
should
first, you read
stand.
it afterward, we might not.
We all read our packets and we love it.
this is resolution number 229 to recognize the service of trustee Jill Richards. Whereas the Warrenville Public Library District Board of Trustees is deeply grateful for the dedicated service and unwavering commitment of trustee Jill Richardson to our library and community. And whereas trustee Jill Richardson has served as a valued member of this board for 16 years, from May 2009 to April 2025, providing invaluable guidance and leadership. And whereas trustee Jill Richardson contributed to the board's work on building renovations, staff benefit improvements, director hiring, strategic planning, etc. And whereas trustee Jill Richardson's passion for libraries and commitment to lifelong learning have served as an inspiration to us all. And whereas trustee Jill Richardson is now retiring from the board, and we wish her well in her future endeavors. Now, therefore, it will be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees of the Warrenville Public Library District hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation to trustee Jill Richardson for her outstanding service, and be it further resolved that we wish trustee Jill Richardson a happy and fulfilling retirement. And we hope that she will continue to support our library and community. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to trustee Jill Richardson as a token of our respect and admiration. Adopted this 16th day of April 2025 pursuant to a roll call vote as follows. All in favor, vote aye.
This roll call is each individual.
Oh, trustee Lazan,
Aye.
trustee Richardson.
I guess
I'm gonna abstain. That would be an abstain, okay. Trustee Schmidt,
Enthusiastic aye.
trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Stahl,
Aye.
trustee DeRosa votes aye. And we do have one absent. So. No. 4 ayes, 1 abstain, 1 absent. Okay.
Speech. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, Jill abstained.
Jill abstained. That's right. 1, 2,
There are
3,
5
4.
for the rest of you.
Five,
Right,
it is
he's
5
right.
days.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. 5.
I'm miscounting.
One saying what I.
Sorry. I'm making a change here.
Count them on the fingers once again.
So sorry.
You'll just have to come back and.
I might have to come to the August meeting to see Jerry.
Here's your resolution that you can read over and over and over again for your pleasure, for your reading pleasure. And here, it's a special.
Oh my
catalog that You
gosh.
might want to purview because there's a special something in there for that.
I didn't know that was my favorite.
I don't know. I possibly know. Jill is an avid gardener and she's going to enjoy going to the growing place now and again.
Enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking at me like I'm supposed to say something.
Please do, say something. 16 years, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure, so I'm really glad you cleared that up for me. How long it's been. Yeah. Thank you. It's been, I really am gonna miss all of you very, very much. I enjoy it every month. I enjoy being with you. I enjoyed making this incredible renovation that it's made such a beautiful library. I enjoyed that. What, the honor project thing we did, which is one of the things I told Patty I might get involved in when I leave. But you know what else I found out? Warrenville is not a bird city, Illinois, and it's gonna be when I get
Okay.
All right, that makes me happy.
So,
We
yeah.
have birds here.
What makes a bird city?
I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm gonna find out. It's a lot of different things that you persuade people to do.
Maybe some dark skies things involved. That would be nice.
I know, yes, but dark skies is one of the big things, and persuading people to keep their cats indoors is the other big things. But anyway, so that's an idea of what I might be doing after my sabbatical and everything. And thank you. It's been great. And we'll hope to see you in other places. I will definitely see you in other places and
Maybe this place.
maybe this place. I might actually come here. and-
Might come and read some books.
I might.
Or
Do some
take them out.
puzzles.
Audio books.
And maybe write some more too.
I might.
For pleasure.
I'll have to retire from my actual job to do more of that, but
Is that coming down the pipe?
I hope so. In maybe 2 years or so, but I don't know yet. We'll find out.
We had an open mic in town and Jill performed the writing that she has done. It was marvelous last weekend.
Oh,
It was very cool.
I'll bet. I'll write a lot more on this sabbatical.
All right. Well, anything else you'd like to share, Jill?
Thanks for getting me involved, Barb, because you're the one who got me to run for this.
You must come.
And I returned the favor.
That's right. Good. All right. We're gonna move on with our agenda then. Looks like we don't have any public here for public comments. Do you have any correspondence? Right, moving on to the consent agenda. Okay.
Item A, approved minutes of the March 19th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting. Item B, approved minutes of the March 19th, 2025 regular board meeting. Item C, receive and file financial report for March 2025. Item D, approve revised library's wage scale and pay grade assignments effective July 1st, 2025.
Wonderful. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
Motion was made by trustee Warren and seconded by trustee Schmidt. We have to let trustee Richardson do some motions.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know the rules, I'm so sorry too.
Trustee Lazan,
Aye.
trustee Richardson.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt,
Aye.
trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stone, aye, and trustee DeRosa votes aye. All right, moving on to the regular agenda, if I could have a motion for 8A. That's
Okay,
page
I move we pay invoices in the amount of $79,618.01. The period of March 20th, 2025 through April 16th, 2025, including electronic payments and checks 10449 through 10495.
Second.
I second.
Sandy got there before you. All right, so the motion was made by trustee Richardson and seconded by trustee Lazan. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
And trustee DeRosa votes aye. All right, item 8B. Back to you, Jill.
I move we transfer $190,000 from commercial checking account to operating checking account. Just have a second.
I, or a second.
I second.
Motion was made by trustee Richardson and seconded by trustee Stowe. Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson.
Aye.
And trustee Lozano.
Aye.
And trustee DeRosa votes aye. All right, moving on to item 9. Approval policy number 430, law enforcement visits. This is on page 23 of your packets. And what do you have to tell us about this?
So it's the policy reviewed last month. The only change I made was adding to the very last line of the policy about reporting if possible. Including video taken, so. Otherwise, like I said, is what we discussed last month. Lawyer was happy with it, but it's discussing general tidbits about when ICE should come to visit and what we do. and what
There's
we-
no suggested motion.
Yeah,
Yes, it
it's in
is.
the,
It's in the packet. Move to approve and adopt policy number 430, immigration authority visited as presented.
it's on page 23. Yeah, it's not on the paper.
Okay.
It's in the right.
Description.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Wrong page. Did you just say it?
Yes, I did.
Second.
All right. The motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Warren. This is policy, so we will do a roll call vote. Trustee Stoll. Aye. Voice vote. Whatever it is. I'll roll call. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan. Aye. Trustee DeRosa votes aye. All right, we're on page 27 now. Approve ordinance declaring a trustee vacancy.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-01 declaring a trustee vacancy.
Thank you.
Second.
Good. Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Lazan. Is there any further discussion? I always forget this. No? Okay, this isn't the policy. I think we can just do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we've got a trustee vacancy to fill. Excellent. All right, let's talk about the appointment process.
So, the questions on page 29, but on page 30 and 31, you've got mocked up a letter and application to post. So I think last month you had talked about maybe 2 questions of tell us about yourself, or 3 questions, why you're interested in being a trustee and what do you think the challenges are. I just added a couple extra of how long have you lived here, do you use the library, do you have previous experience, and briefly discuss your vision. We can remove those if you want. I was fleshing it out a little bit, but I was some of the other directors on the list there have been discussing this, and so I had posted a couple of examples, so I grabbed a couple of their letters and cobbled together. Just thought it was good to have, similar to how we advertised when the election was happening, and you had to get your petitions, but just put together, got a letter to attach to the application. Here's what you should know about being a trustee. If you're interested.
Probably the only thing I thought was a little bit awkward is number 2, instead of how often you use the library, how about how often you visit the library? Because I mean, I mean, if it's like, well, I realize people don't just walk through here or cut through to the other side, but you know, I just feel like use is kind of like, well, let's see, did I actually check out books or did I check out videos, you know? Versus coming in and sitting in the quiet room and reading versus, I just figure visit seems a little bit,
Sure, that's fine.
but I don't know.
That sounds good.
Yes.
On the letter for down at the bottom, it says, you can contact us or attend a board meeting, but kind of with the timing, most likely I won't have a chance to attend the board meeting, so I was just gonna move the information about when the board meetings are and that, there's occasional committee of the whole meetings plus other, the trustee dinners or ILA opportunities, up to number 1 there where it says, this includes time to become and stay knowledgeable about public library issues to prepare for and attend board meetings. So I figured maybe either in number 1 or make it a new number, just stating what part of that time is.
Does that include, I know, I think I just, so that there's a potential of there's special board meetings, so people don't think there's just the 3rd Wednesday.
Right, that's what I meant with
Oh,
committee of the
okay.
whole meetings, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll add that.
I'm
And then
wondering
oh,
if
go
we
ahead.
could add something in here about,
Hey, committee
doing
of the
some,
board.
library trustee training.
Sure.
I think that's really important, that it's an expectation that they'll do some training.
Well, and include educational opportunities,
Right.
you know.
Because it's really important when you first become a library trustee to understand, it's gonna be different than a lot of if they have never been on a public board, a public body board, it's very different than if they've been on their church board or if they've been on their
PTA.
private school board or PTA or whatever. It's very different. So, anyway.
And addition to that, I like that, I'll add that, on the application part of it itself. I don't think we actually say anywhere on here that after applying, you come interview with the board. That seems like that should be relevant.
Oh, yeah.
To add to the,
I'm just thinking in number 7 too, besides able to withstand pressures and prejudice, something about being an advocate for the library, or being a library advocate or advocate for the library.
that was similar.
Yeah, we definitely want to say that. Generally interested in public library and understand importance. Yeah, it doesn't actually say advocate. Does it?
Up under what trustees do,
Oh, okay,
the very last point there is being advocate for the library.
okay, good. Okay, good. We need to say it. Good. All right.
So generally, are you liking the letter
Okay.
and application?
What trustees don't do, ban books.
Might need to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. Okay.
So I can make those tweaks, and then if you're overall happy with that, then we will, after tonight, now that we've officially declared the vacancy, we'll post it on the website, we'll put a notice out on services. And then Kathy was planning on sending a special email on the 30th about it as well. But then I suppose the next steps are deciding what you want your deadline to be for application. So if
I'd like to
you,
try to move forward on this as quickly as possible. I would love to do interviews before the next board meeting. Like at 6 o'clock or 6:30, right before the next board meeting.
Well, some of it is, I'm just wondering, I mean, I would say that would be good if we've only got 1 or 2 candidates, but if we've got 3 or 4,
Yeah, well, we won't be able
Yeah.
to,
Right.
but we'll be able to do a few.
right, oh, yeah.
I'd like to see in item 1, be knowledgeable about public library issues and policy. Or policies, depending on which.
Well, I don't know that I was knowledgeable about these library policies.
We get a handbook, you get to look through them. Aren't that-
well, that it's commit the time necessary to
Yeah.
learn.
I kind of went over that during trainings.
Well,
Yeah.
so if you're saying then we're shortening up the
Yeah.
amount of time if we're gonna do, because so the meeting is on the 21st of May,
Yes.
okay?
So I've got it up on the screen. So here's today, the 16th, 21st is the next meeting. I was thinking either like the 9th or the 5th, maybe the 15th. Then that's gives a day or so to figure out how many are coming, if they can come, then treat that agenda. Post.
Would it, is there a lot that Kat has to get together for that special notice to go out on the 30th? Would it be possible to send that special notice out on the 23rd? So that there's a little bit more, notice for anybody who might want to apply, even though I know we don't want a lot of people to apply because we have. It would be great, whoever wants to, but I don't know, is that a lot? I know you said, is there a lot?
Thank you for your consideration. Jason and I talked about, do we do it this Wednesday, in which case it would be a special news, or we happen to have, we send regular emails on the first, third, and the occasional 5th Wednesday of the month. So I think that's why he said the 30th.
Oh, because the
but
30th is the 3rd, and that's a regular one that's going out anyway?
Yes,
We'll leave it. I thought that was an extra.
maybe
Okay.
the 23rd is doable, but the 30th is a little more doable.
Yeah, no, then I think I think.
And then it's in with
Then that
everything
makes
else.
sense.
Yeah, I think,
I was wrong.
well, yeah. Do we want it in with everything else, or do we want it to be separate? Do we want it to be its own little thing?
I would think it's
I
a
don't
little thing
think
to
I
grab
remember.
people's attention.
But if we could issue a press release on it.
I found my way here by view of the Warrenville newspaper that came out at the time.
I'll digest.
I don't particularly want a ton of people to apply, honestly. I mean,
Well, you want one anyway.
We have,
Two.
we
we
have
know we have
one.
interested people.
We have at least one.
Oh, okay, okay.
I just don't want there to be like, 15 people. We've never had 15 people.
Yeah.
Right, no,
It's nobody around.
at one point when
Yeah.
I applied, I wanna say, I thought I was one of 6, but.
It's, people view this as a much different process than running for the election.
Oh, yeah.
Much different, much easier. So,
So my question is though, tonight, are we gonna decide just in case we need an alternate date for a special meeting? Or are we gonna wait and see how many people apply?
I think we should wait and see.
Can we do that? Because isn't that?
Is
not
it- I
being
mean, there is
discussion
supposed to
between
be,
meetings that we can't have?
I guess we should decide.
I mean, only right now, other than Jerry, we've got everybody here, so if we can figure out what calendars are, because then if Jason has to send an email out, we have to respond to Jason's email, whether or not what dates would work for us.
Okay, so,
Trying to say I could maybe send a scheduling poll. I suppose I should double check, but I don't think that would violate open meetings act, because I'm just
No.
asking when you're available.
yeah, that
to me.
doesn't, that
And as long
doesn't
as there's
violate.
no email conversation and you're just clicking on a link and voting for a poll for a date to come next. Don't think, I'll double check, but I should think we should be able to do
Well,
that.
as long as we're just replying to Jason and not somehow.
Yeah.
Well, if we
Right.
reply all, then it's a problem.
Okay, so, but we could probably also solve it right now.
Like, do we want to do a Saturday or another weeknight? You know, like the. 'Cause
Well,
it's-
first of all, I'd like to focus on doing them on the night of May 21st,
It's possible, right?
right before the board meeting. I think we could probably get 3 in. I don't think we need to interview somebody for longer than 15 minutes. So we could get 3 in for sure. Before,
So interviews starting at 6.
if we need to,
Okay.
we could definitely do 3 before that. And we'll just see how many we have. And if we have more than 3 candidates, then and we'll probably need to put,
That's also
On
been out
closed
there.
session.
availability.
probably gonna have to put a closed session on that.
Well, here's my other question. I realize that, you know, that is the third Wednesday, but if we do have candidates that are, or a candidate say that's interested, but for whatever reason can't make that night, then, do we just drop that person? If say we have 3, but 2 out of the 3 can make it that night with the person.
Oh, gosh, you're making this
Should
hard.
be able to accommodate that one.
Say again?
We should be able to accommodate that on another evening. What are the odds that anyone can make, you know, this whole room? What with the various things going on?
We could just start throwing dates out and people check their calendars. You want, just, let's pick one other, would you like to pick one other date,
Yeah,
Barb, as a,
well, then let's have it be before the
Yeah.
21st.
yes, I agree.
So that we can make our decision on the 21st.
Mhm. Okay, so how are people on the 20th?
Fine.
I'm good, May 20th. Or we may have to use a different room. Yeah, oh, thank you.
20th.
The public wouldn't have. to
20th is
be-
open for me.
These interviews don't have to include the public.
No,
No.
But
You can begin the meeting and then vote to go into executive session at the end.
right. I mean, it still has to be posted.
Yes, I'm good. I was trying to think we could use a smaller room. you know,
yes,
If we needed to.
Maybe use the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that. We did that when we interviewed Jason.
So that's up to you all. If you
is there a reason why Jason should or should not be involved?
I'm fine, either way.
Gotta meet him sometime.
I think it'd be good for him to be.
I think
If that,
if you're available,
figure
It's good
facilitate
to-
the meeting one way or another, but I'd be interested in being.
we didn't
involved,
say a
but
time.
Didn't want to
Do you
step on
want-
your toes.
What time would you like to put that room?
I'm open, so I think Sandy is our biggest
Yeah.
wild card here.
6:30 would be better if
Okay.
possible.
All right, let's do that.
Sure. And then gives people a chance to have dinner,
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing to worry about for dinner. I think that's a good idea.
so depending on the number of candidates will overflow. to the 20th. We're gonna try to stack them on the 21st, and if we have to overflow to the 20th, we will. Is that amenable to all?
Is there a place in this building that we could do it?
Doesn't say there are programs in this room,
I prefer to have a quiet room if we can kick people out.
I
Well,
just feel like it's a lot less.
Is it one of the study rooms big enough to, no?
That's 6.
Otherwise, we're all crowded in there. Just, you know, whereas I think.
The computer room.
We could also use a computer room, it's just not very cozy. I like the quiet room.
Yeah.
I love the art department. I
You
went
did
to
that
see
for the
new
director's
display.
interviews.
Very cool.
I think. Yeah, all right. Okay, good. Quiet room it is.
Okay, so we've got potential for interviews, the night of the meeting, May 21st at either 6 or 6:30, depending on how many candidates we have, and alternate on Tuesday, the 20th.
Can we also reserve the quiet room for right before the meeting on the 21st? For our interviews?
Sure.
That's just a nicer space. That would be nice. Okay. And maybe we'll start at like 6:15 on the 21st. Just for you. Okay, wonderful.
So then when do we want the deadline for application to be?
16th works for me.
Okay.
Well.
So then is
That
the-
doesn't give us a lot of time to contact. We're gonna start on.
We can make it-
14th, maybe the 14th,
That gives us a couple days to
yeah,
do it for.
14th is good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure,
And
and
I
then do you
think-
want the
I-
applications to come
I
to
think
me
we
or
should
to?
do the, I think we should do the e-news on the 30th.
Okay.
And not do a special thing on the 20th.
Can I suggest also, I'd love to take a group shot of all of you tonight with Jill and her holding her. And, then once Jason is ready to put with the applicants for the application sometime next week, we could just do a shout out, thanking Jill for her time and segueing into, got an opening on the board. And then leading, to that information, and then as well as doing the keynote class.
That's great.
All right, Kathy, if you're gonna keep making us take pictures, I want you to, I want you to identify the spot in this building that has nice background artwork. Because there is no spot in this room that I want my picture taken in. There is a lot of nice artwork in this building.
All of those requirements.
This is new Albright.
There's a lot of nice artwork in this building, but a lot of it's way up high.
The paper, the paper display of the paper artwork. handmade
I'm just
paper
saying, Kathy,
is
you know where it all is. You're gonna have to take us to the place.
Okay,
Okay.
I shall do that.
All right,
But I'll be thinking, well,
it's okay if the artwork is up high, because we're gonna be standing in front of it, so. Blocking it. All right,
Barb, on my map of days, I seem to have a notice that we will be reviewing secretary minutes at 6:30 on the 21st of May.
you do.
I have this for some reason.
I think that's the the trustee responsibilities calendar.
We
Oh, maybe.
can
it's like-
adjust that to another time.
Okay,
We're adjusting that to another time.
what time would that be, Barb?
That would be another time. How about if we do that
I think that was, so what was it? Do you have it listed as?
It's listed as
April
review secretary's minutes
on April 21st?
on April 21st.
How about July,
Oh,
whatever?
May 21st.
Oh, May
21st at 6:30.
May 20, sorry.
That's one or two of you coming in, sitting down in Jackie's office and reviewing.
Making
minutes.
sure
We
that
can do
they're
that
all
whenever we want. That was just suggested time, so we can.
But you should know it's from last year. It's not last year, it's this year.
I've got it from this year.
Oh,
We'll make a note, we'll reach out. and-
Well, we'll have to-
Move that.
We'll have to determine who those two people will be and when they will do it. I'm not it.
Says you.
I'm not it. I've done my time. You're not in.
I'm not it.
Okay.
I will not either.
Have we discussed this
Oh.
thoroughly?
She's gonna review.
Have we covered all the bases?
I guess my final questions are in terms of who you want to collect the applications. Do you want to do that, or do you want me to coordinate it all and then set up with them coming
You.
for the interview? That's what I thought you would say, but I didn't want to.
You're it.
Okay,
Because you're here.
I think it would be easier for somebody.
agreed.
Well, that way too, if,
But I would like you to press the bat button and let me know when somebody applies so that I can come right over and review it.
Absolutely, I can do that. Fantastic. I think that answered all the questions. So aside from, I guess I didn't bring actually like the interview questions, but
Here's interview questions.
no, those were questions I had for you all.
Oh, those were your questions.
Quite.
Sorry.
So I had
I
temp,
was so focused on the budget, I didn't, you can
I had
tell, I
several
didn't
ones.
really spend a lot of time looking at this board deck.
I will mock up some questions, send it to you.
So sorry,
You
friends.
can respond to me individually if you have suggestions.
Yeah,
for
maybe
additions
not-
or Changes.
Maybe not more than 4 questions, seriously.
Fair
We don't need it to be a long process. Hopefully they'll have
Do you want
a
me to
lot to say.
take
you
one of
want
these
to
off
handle
and save it
Okay,
for the
we're
interview?
good. We're done.
That'd be good.
Maybe the last one, your vision.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, save that for the interview. Let's steal all their thunder. Right?
Sounds good.
I just had to come up with some interview questions for something for Sierra Club. I'm interviewing somebody for it. I'll forward them. Maybe it'll be a helpful and persuade.
Perfect.
You know, just to help brainstorm.
Although
you.
honestly, I would hate to be the question like, what is your vision for the library cold?
That's a
kind of
good
mean.
point. That's a good point, because they're like, I don't know.
Right. I sent this guy the interview questions prior to. the
Yeah,
interview.
that's,
Email them.
that's the thing.
Once we set up the times, just, we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah,
these
that's
things.
Yeah, that's good.
well, I could see, like, I would say one thing, what do you see as I don't know how to say important goal for the library, because I mean, we sort of went through this with strategic planning process. What does this person think of, for the library?
Okay, but
I think
introverts, which library people tend to be, like to know in advance.
Right.
We like to process.
I can give the candidates the questions ahead of time.
Yeah,
I think that is also a trend in just general.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're not trying
job
to,
world.
not trying to trip them up. Just like to know them. Okay.
well, I guess we would wait if they ask them the questions, but at least they'd have time to think about it.
Right. Then you're not,
They had to think.
they're
the
not on the
answer.
spot, hemming and hawing, trying to think of
Right.
something nice to say. They've been able to think about it ahead of time and hopefully then have a thoughtful response for what you're gonna ask.
I just hate to think they answer all the questions on the application, and we all stare at them for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Say what your favorite.
All right. We're on 9D. Radon mitigation update.
Well, I guess we kind of discussed that during the budget, but
We did
just that,
$5,000 to $50,000.
Yeah. unfortunately, Lee wasn't able to implement those suggestions, so we're gonna have to move forward with the mitigation. So waiting to hear from him. He said he was working about diagnostics before he got back to me. So I will keep you updated once I know.
So the one question I had, is this something that would need to be done? Whether tested or mitigation have to be done on a regular basis. I mean, I realize maybe it's been years since we've done any mitigation on it, but I was just curious, like, we get this done this year, do we do it again, say 5 years from now to test to see where it
I
is?
think the mitigation is a permanent
Yeah,
Solution?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
solution.
that's what I wasn't sure
So
of.
one would hope, I mean, I don't know, if they occasionally test after
I
that,
guess
but
I didn't
I'm
realize.
hoping that once we get this in place, we're done, the problem is solved and not worry about it.
Well, I mean, we'll probably test it again, I would say, I mean, just to be sure it doesn't happen again, but.
I'm sure once they put the things in place, they'll probably do an element of testing after that to make sure
Okay.
that they're
Okay.
have covered the bases. So. Keep you updated.
Okay. Moving on to the director's report.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Is there anyone who's still outstanding on their economic interest statement?
When I checked last week, there were,
Okay, some of you know,
I think there was three.
you know who you
Two
are,
or three.
so please do it. If you're having trouble with your passwords or anything, Jason will help you.
I'm good.
Or, no, I know, we
I
fixed you, that was my fault.
Don't be looking at me, guys.
That was all my fault.
Even I did it.
I did it, didn't I? I did it, didn't
Yeah, no problem.
I? I'm pretty sure.
I can check again tomorrow and send those that haven't heard back.
Because I
Thank you.
did it the same
case you don't
time I did
remember.
the director, I'm like, okay, I gotta do all these things, and it's like, that was one of the things.
All right. You're asking if anyone wants to do the Atlas Trustee Day on May 17th. I have plans that day, so I cannot do it. What, do we know what they're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one thing I was questioning. I mean, it says in the speakers are, but it doesn't say the topic. Which I
I-
remember last year when Connie and I went, we had the topic. so-
It was a really good event. I'm tabling all day that day in West Chicago.
I don't remember what they had out so far, see what the topics were.
Is
Just does
there
those
any
for the
way to get it? I mean, I'd be interested in going, but I'd like to know what the topic is. So,
Okay. Heather has her hand halfway up.
It's not so funny, but it's that.
it's what, it's so. You go with your speakers because, I mean, like last year when, I know they were talking about the burnout, you know, library directors, library trustees, and that's where we met the Downers Grove trustees that talked about, you know, having to have the police get them home because they, and things like that.
Oh, goodness. Oh, thank goodness, nothing like that's ever happened here.
We'll visit those items.
All right. Is there anything else you want to highlight from your report?
We got our, I mean, I put it in there, but we got our certificate for participating with the city, for being an autism friendly city, so
Okay.
that was nice. It was very quick. The folks from Old Friends got up, spoke, and then presented the certificate, and I believe we were out of there within 15 minutes after the meeting started, so. But it was nice. Then just pointing out, make sure you read through the handout that we got, that I included in the packet about library funding in Illinois. We sent out an e-news to everyone's trying to make people aware. So, like I said earlier, when we were in the budget meeting, I reached out to the state to verify that our per capita grant money is safe. That's not a concern. So in terms of our direct funding, we are good. It's just very concerning about what the impact may be for delivery. Churro with Swan, but just Illinois in general. So it's a great, I think, future of Illinois libraries and being part of Swan and having all that delivery was one of the reasons y'all joined Swan in the first place, right? So having that easy access to so many items. So that is the biggest concern, but since everything's up in the air, it's hard to really tell what the impact will be. The very least that I know of is that I think our Swan fees could go up around $5,000, which I think we can handle, but is also a lot. A lot of other libraries out there that I think will be hit a lot harder in terms of trying to cover these costs. Before you read through that, there's some of those other grants that we haven't necessarily partook of the last several years, but a lot of libraries use those on a yearly basis. So a lot of places are going to be hit harder, but yeah, so just so that you're aware, in case anybody asks you, or you want to reach out and call your Congress folks 3 times daily as
Thank you for that, Linda, by the way.
So, I reached out, I didn't contact everybody here, but on behalf of our library, on behalf of libraries, I reached out to Congressman, Bill Foster's office. And, his, chief of staff happened to pick up the phone, which I was actually quite shocked about. And her name is escaping me.
Hillary Day.
Hillary Day, right? And, you know, I gave her my spiel. She's like, thank you for calling. And I told her, you know, I went off script because, you know, the ALA sent us a script to follow. And I was like, well, I am a, you know, trustee in Warrenville, and this means a lot to me. And she's like, well, thank you for calling, and I will note your concern. And can I ask you a few questions about Warrenville? So she did, and it's like, is there some event that that Representative Foster could come into? And I'm like, well, sure, of course there is. Like, we have BandCon, and so coming up, I'm sure he'd love that, especially if he wants to dress up, you know? So I connected their office with Paul, and they're gonna maybe come to BandCon. Anyway, but Hillary said, because I was telling her how dismayed I was about everything, and she said, 3 calls a day, that's what you need to do, 3 calls a day to your Congress people, to your senators and congressmen. She said, it actually makes a difference. And then I told a bunch of my friends, and some of my friends started calling everywhere, and they're like, these people said it makes no difference whatsoever.
Maybe it depends on how, on the Congress people or the elected officials.
Yeah.
Maybe some listen more than others.
Maybe so.
Um,
Ah,
Well, that's nice that it manages them to
Yeah.
foster our person.
and she emphasized that you should also be calling the Speaker of the House office, because he works for everybody.
That would make no sense to call him 3 times.
That's right. Now let's just do that.
Although,
got-
not that he would listen.
Not that he
to
would listen, but still,
Did you
What
get,
you call them
did you
3
call him?
times.
Did you get through to him?
Huh?
I did not.
What you call it.
Yeah. I don't think he would enjoy it. I called him 3 times a day.
Anyway, that was my little foray into my library moment.
And Rick brought me, I saw there was a little, in the opinion section of the Tribune, there was an article about leave libraries alone. But on Monday, I was, well, contacted last week, but I spoke to the reporter on Monday from the Tribune. They're also doing an article about the cuts. And so I don't enjoy being quoted in newspapers, but it's possible that will be quoted in a newspaper
good.
article.
I hope they get it right.
Hopefully they, I've never been in the Tribune before. I've been in Pioneer Press publications that I've never been quoted correctly. Or had my name spelled correctly in any of them, so I'm not holding out a lot, but I'm glad they're doing an article. I spoke relatively.
Did they say when it had run?
No.
Okay, now we're moving on to department head reports. Do any trustees have any comments about any of our fabulous department head reports? And do any department heads have any fabulous things to highlight from your fabulous reports? Because a lot is going on here in our library. Perhaps we should send a copy of this to our illustrious president. Stuff happens at our libraries.
To read first.
Anybody have anything to highlight? Paul?
I do want to, just to keep a date on your calendar, because that's very interesting. In August, on August 28th, Thursday, it's a Thursday, Sarah Phelan from the Historical Society is doing the program on America 250, because next year is 250th anniversary of America. It is kind of going to be like a open forum type program, and she's going to be saying what for the residents, how they want to celebrate America 250. So if you want to be present for the event or be a part of the forum, let me know. The registration is not open yet, but it will open May 19th. But just want to get it on your calendars.
So what's her program going to be? It's gonna be to try to garner interest in, or it's gonna be more of a program about the 250th anniversary?
Kind of both, because she's a part of the,
Warrenville Historical Society.
what's that?
Warrenville Historical Society?
Yes, but there's the actual commission, the
Oh.
Illinois State America 250 Commission. So she's actually part of the official planning for what Illinois will be doing in commemoration of America 250. So she's kind of using it kind of informational and to get interest and to get some community part of how it's celebrated.
I don't know.
Wow. I already know I can't come to that.
I have some really tricky.
I really am interested though. I might try to do both of the things I have to do. That's gonna be here?
Yep.
7:00. Which time was it? I think,
August 27th.
I think you said 28.
oh, you said 27?
28th, I'm sorry.
28.
I did say
Come both days.
Yeah.
Thursday, August 28th.
Let's show up on the 27th, just in case.
Just in case. I see the 24 hours. We do have a program.
Get the best seats.
For too, so you
Okay.
can do both if you like.
Well, I have a couple of comments on the member feedback. One, I'm really happy about the person who brought donuts and was appreciative of Ramadan inclusion. That's really cool. I'm probably for that too. And the other one was, Tom's feedback. I was actually here, sitting at that same desk. And he was so patient and so helpful, and I just listening to the interaction sort of. Yeah. Cause that was a long time.
Okay, any other comments or highlights? Okay, so next month. We're gonna potentially be meeting at 6:15. For interviews. It's just FYI, even though it's not listed here. And. We've got Connie and Rick going to Laconia and maybe Heather. Going to the other thing.
I looked it up. I can read a little bit about that. The Atlas thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Now's the time to prepare to become the best librarian advocate you can. Every library is different and carries different expectations. Our trusted directors are here to help bridge the transition and help get you started on the right path with the basics of being a trustee. Says the speakers are, and then the two peoples, but that, that's all it says about. It's just about feeling.
Being an advocate,
Huh?
basically being an advocate.
Yeah, for your library. Being the best public library advocate you can. And what are those expectations?
Oh, let me look it up and read it. I mean, I'm not sure
Okay.
that I want to.
Cindy and I used to go to that, and it was a full morning. They started out with donuts and coffee, and it was down in the basement. And you had the whole board of trustees there, and they would go through the various requirements of what it takes to be a committee and a board of trustees. And then they went through a sample meeting. And they had hecklers and all kinds of stuff like that that they would reenact and this sort of thing, so that you got a feel for what could happen, although mostly it was just normal presenting motions, voting on
Well,
proposals.
that's what the owl sings?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's interesting, from what it's reading, it says you've just been elected or reelected library trustee, congratulations, so it's kind of.
Oh, it'd be a good thing to send our person that's getting appointed.
But it's May, so it'll be.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it comes around every year.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
Okay.
I don't, I mean, I hope I'm already a good library advocate.
It was a really
I
good
feel
thing
you're
for me to go to the
fantastic.
first time I went.
Okay.
I feel like I got lots of experience.
Yeah. Little.
All right, treasurer's report.
Just, our CDs are making us some money.
Yay!
Yay.
Excellent, great news. Secretary's report.
Yes, everything looks good.
Okay. Committee report? Do you have a report or you just wanna go right into closed session?
There was no committee.
There's no committee to report anything on?
No.
Okay. Well, we have this.
Yes,
This is
that's right.
closed session.
That was committee of one.
That's closed session. Okay. All right, so is it time for us to do that then?
I don't know, were there any other trustee comments?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Yes,
So May 1st, May 5th is when Andy's getting sworn in. And he's not gonna be our new mayor, and I just thought I'd let people know that. I do know in public comment, it could be, there was a woman who read a poem about Warrenville that was really charming at the open mic. And she's going to read that poem at open, public comment in a welcome to Andy. To town, or to being like, not to town, but to being in Warrenville. So I don't know, as a show of support, I'm gonna go.
What time?
May 5th, I think it starts at 7. It's the city council meeting.
I will forward you the email I got about it.
Oh,
please shoot. I would like to go.
yeah. I did hear somewhere, and I don't wanna go on a big thing about this, but something that I thought it was kind of cool. I was on in social media with a couple other library trustees I know, one from Downers Grove. And she was asking questions like, how involved are you with other agencies in your town besides your library board? And a couple of them said that their town has a meeting once a year or different frequency of the library board, the library people and the city council and the park district and the history center. They have a round table where everybody comes from all the different agencies, comes together and shares. Now, maybe we do that at a staff level. I don't know if we do that at all, but I just thought that's a really nice kind of a thing that,
Well, we did it when we had we had some TIF issues where we needed to have like some intergovernmental things happen. And so we actually did have a meeting with the Park District and school district wasn't there because we were mad at them.
Fire district.
Fire district was there,
And I
Park
think
district was there, us and city. So we were meeting about that,
yeah.
but
And I
it was
just think-
specific for a particular.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask more about it, just to understand it better. Because it would be like, okay, let's do like, where's our sustainability plans? How are we all moving forward for that? Or how are we all moving forward with, like a specific issue, using less energy or, something.
That's a good idea.
So, I mean, might be, so informally, some of us do this, the history, Warrenville, but our TAC, we do have an informal group that meets, and so I thought it's helpful. So anyway, I'm just throwing it, it's just food, I'm planting a seed.
Can also get kind of unwieldy too.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, yes.
Okay,
So before we adjourn, I just, FanCon, so like, are you gonna send out an email confirming all our like times and everything, and then we just need to get our t-shirts ready? Okay.
Yeah, you'll get something. Julie. These ones organizing volunteers.
You know, I responded on my email, and I think the email came from you, not from Julie. Anyway, I responded on my email that I could be here until 1:30, and now something's come up, so I can only be here until 12:30. Sorry.
Okay, so then, are we ready for me to read the motion?
Yes.
I move to enter closed session as allowed by 5 ILCS 120/2, C, 1, for the purpose of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
Second.
Seconded by.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Schmidt. So we are now in closed session.
Not yet. You have to do a roll call vote.
Thank you, department heads. You're all fantastic.
Okay, so roll call vote.
Trustee, we're voting to go into closed session. Trustee Lazan,
Yes.
trustee Richardson. Yes. Trustee Schmidt, we're voting to go into closed session.
Aye.
Trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Stoll,
Aye.
trustee DeRosa goes aye. Now we have to take a roll call.
Hold on.
Trustee Warren,
Present.
trustee Schmidt,
Here.
trustee Richardson,
Here.
trustee Lazan,
Here.
trustee DeRosa. Is here. I'm here. And so is executive director Stolman. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Goodbye.
Oh, no, so no, we need the action resulting from the closed session, which is on page 20, which is moved that the executive director receives a 4% increase in salary for fiscal year 25, 2% COLA and 2% merit.
Second.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stoll.
Aye.
Trustee DeRosa votes aye. How do you vote? I signed it.
Okay, so now we have a adjournment motion, maybe trustee Richardson can make it.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
It's seconded by trustee Lazan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned, and thank you so much, trustee Richardson.
You guys want me to-